Welcome, everybody, to Elvins 310 Podcast with your boy, Travioli. Yes, that's right. As you can see, we got a full house today. I got Mr. J-Dawg on my left. I got ShowMe Green next to his left.
Morning.
Next to ShowMe Green and to my right is the one, the only, Bud Tender's favorites from St. Francis County to Jefferson County, Miss Mary Osha. Welcome today.
Thank you.
Welcome.
How you like the studio, Mary? You made it all the way down here to Park Hills.
I love it. I think it's cool.
You legally can say you're flossing on Davis Crossing now, Mary.
I am. And I love it. Never a disappointment when I'm with my friends. Whoops.
That's awesome. Yeah, every event where you were at, we weren't able to make it to the last event, which I was kind of sad about that, but I did have an anniversary that I had to actually attend to. So the next one that's coming up at North, just go ahead and give them a shout out since I got that out in front of me, because Mary loves North as much as we do.
Yeah.
So,
I've been with North 4 years. When they opened, the people there are my people. They really are. They're my type of people. They're very trained. They're very good. I love them.
locally owned, does that play a role in your decision making
Oh,
too?
yeah.
Because you can see
Locally
how
owned.
corporations have came in. Because I met you at a dispo up in the city. It was awesome. I knew about you before I actually met you, because they actually spoke so highly of you at the dispensary coming in. So
Really?
yeah, once we came in, Kristen and all the bud tenders, Jada, Josh, all of them I'm at the RIP Star Buds. We got to throw the RIP in there. That's why we drop it. But yeah, that's where I met you. And then North being locally owned, they just usually have the better deals and hosting these events. So they have a North's Dispensary birthday bash coming up on June 21st. Are you planning on going to that?
Oh, yeah. I will be there. They deserve a good birthday, and we deserve a good bash.
What's your
We do.
What's your favorite things about these events at North? Because we talk about them all the time, but you being another person that's not in the podcast that come to these events, what do you think about those, Mary?
I love them. I was talking to Morgan the other day, and even though he was kind of weighing the cost, he weighs the cost.
Right,
I
he's
thought,
money, numbers.
Of course. Well, I told him, I said, you guys are the only ones that do this. Besides your advertising, that's all deduction.
Right.
That's all deduction, whether they're making or losing money. Either way, you got to look at it on both sides of the coin,
It's serving two
So-
purposes. It's bringing money to the community, and
Right.
which the money that comes through the dispo goes to the town, the city, the state, so it has good purpose. Again, it's good, clean, tested products.
Right.
Like we tell people all the time, a lot of people have cannabis. It's easy to look at it and tell it's good and smell. You can't really see it all, but when it comes to a gummy and a vape, I know 100% you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's nice knowing that they have good, safe products out there. With that being said, Show Me Green, you came in with this glass tip joint. What are we puffing on today?
Lime heads.
Lime heads. I saw you brought Miss Mary Osha a package too.
I
What was
did.
that?
Yeah, that was Ricky's hash plant.
So do you know Trailer Park Boys? You don't? You have got to research that. You might like it. Do you like?
Who is it?
It's kind of like The Simpsons, and
It's the America's equivalent of Married with Children.
it is yes. So like how America with children with Al Bundy and everything,
Or
how
it's
raw.
Canada's equivalent.
Yeah,
of,
Canada.
Yeah, Canada's equivalent.
Just stoners in a trailer
Stoners.
park. Things that would happen in a trailer park
It
with
sounds
weed.
Hilarious.
like fun.
Yeah, it's my
You know.
favorite show. It's
But that's going to be
hilarious.
probably the stickiest weed you've ever had. I'm telling you right now, because I've had a lot of people that I've gave a little nug to here and there, let them know. And that's what they said. They're like, dude, it literally broke a tooth off in my grinder.
Yeah.
It just is so sticky and chunky.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I ruined my grinder by getting one of those, what was it called? I don't even remember. Some kind of a ball of thing. A mood something.
A moon rock?
Moon rock?
Moon rock.
Yeah.
at
And I
RSO
put that in
and
my grinder because
Oh,
it was
yeah.
so sticky and it just ruined it.
Yeah.
So
That distillate and all that was pumped into that nug.
I soaked it in alcohol.
Uh-huh.
And my grinder came unglued.
Yeah.
Do you know what that?
So
Do you know what that moon rock was, Mary?
hash and looked like hash to
Hash.
me.
A lot of time they'll take the bud and they'll inject it with like distillate, and then
Yeah.
they'll like roll it in like a keef or hash or whatever they might have. Probably a couple. You can do hash or keef, right? Is that
Yeah, I mean, you could
Basically
make
the
a new
same.
bubble hash or you could do sift.
sift hash? Yeah. Delivers a good
I'm
high.
Sorry.
Oh,
if
that's
I
all right.
keep hitting that. Damn.
So,
Yeah.
Mary, we got you coming down here, and I made a slide which I'll bring up later. But you've been smoking for a little while.
Long time.
Long time, you said. And that's one reason why I wanted to have you on. I thought that would be super cool talk to someone that we madly respect to help form the community, the culture, everything that we live in now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your look? When did Miss Mary smoke her first cannabis?
Well, I smoked hash first, just once. A friend of mine would send it over. Vietnam War was going on, and he got sent to Germany. It was a friend of my sister's, and he'd send big old bricks of hash home, pure hash.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I smoked that first, and then I smoked weed a couple times, never even fazed me.
So the hash, did you do it with a cup or a pen or a hot knife, or how did you smoke the hash? Just on weed?
We just smoked it out of a pipe.
Out of a pipe.
Yeah.
Show Me Green's got a hash pipe.
We had a pipe, yeah. We'd smoke it out of a pipe. And it was so good, I remember. You know, I remember how it made you feel and everything, you know. I've never had anything since that. There was also a time I was young. I started at 14. There was a time when we got tie stick.
Oh, I remember that on the movies.
Yeah.
You know about that,
Tie stick.
J-Dawg?
Yeah.
Nobody has ever experienced tie stick.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what were the effects like on that? How was that experience for you?
It was great. I mean, it just uplifted you, made you feel good. You didn't care about anything. Your pain was gone. It was very potent.
Was it? And it was actually tied to a stick. How much was that? Do you remember the cost?
$40 was, you get a stick about that long.
So about 10,
And-
12 inches.
Yeah, about
around
that, maybe 10,
Yeah.
you know, and then it would have nugs on it
That's so cool.
that would be wound around with a string of, I guess, off the stem of the pine.
Yeah.
of the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
shaved it off the stalk and
Yeah.
probably used it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
Yeah.
so do you remember what the flavor was like on that at all?
Oh,
Was it real
good.
spicy or
It was,
kind of hazy?
it was good. I can't describe it. Here, I gotta pass this to him.
That's all right. I'll get another one going so we get confused.
Anyway, it was really good. It was pure. It was green. You could tell it had the green flavor.
Yeah.
And after about 2 hits, you were wasted.
That sounds awesome. I would love to try something like that.
A lot of people now, well, people haven't seen tie stick in a long time.
Bringing it back. We're gonna bring it
Yeah.
back with the outdoor girl. I'm gonna make you a Tide stick when one of my outdoor plants get done. I'm gonna do that, Mary. Mark my note. You can go back to the show and rewind and you listen. Just because I think it'd be cool.
2 thumbs up. Hey, 2 thumbs up. No kidding.
I did come up with 10 interview questions for my guest that has smoked since 1969. Let's take it back, which we said Tide stick. That was the first time you smoked, so we actually hit that one kind of. Let's go number 2. How was weed culture in the late 60s and the early 70s? Was it more rebellious, spiritual, social, eventual, concerts?
I think it was a little bit more rebellious and social. Well, everybody's spiritual with it. You know.
Naturally, it comes with it.
Naturally, yeah, it comes with it. But socially, in the 70s and late 60s, I never told anybody I smoked.
Yeah.
Oh.
Completely
kept
kept
it-
it to yourself.
People still to this day, well, now they're going to know, but, you know, there was a couple people that smoked pot all the time, and they had no idea I smoked.
Yeah.
And I'm a regular smoker, you know. The 70s, let's see, that was a great time. And if you weren't smoking weed, you were pretty well lost.
Right.
You know, because music, the British invasion came over, music just got better.
Sounded good. New cultures and new ethnics of culture music.
Right, yeah. And it was also the way you got it. You know, back then, I'm thinking the 70s and maybe the 80s, it would come in a brick form.
Yeah.
And it was a brick compressed, remember?
I did.
Yeah.
And you had to break out the old frisbee or
Yeah.
the Pizza Hut serving tray just to get all the seeds out of it because you'd have to break it and crack it and it just roll back.
I used to hate that.
And to think back then, people would pay for seeds now, even though those seeds weren't probably very well. Just to think about, man, think about all them fucking bags of seeds or bottles I filled up. Did you guys ever fill up a glass bottle of pot seeds?
Oh yeah,
I have.
Oh, I saved some, and I still wish I had them.
Well, you know what? I always encouraged people, if they had a lot of seeds, throw them in the landscape. Get this stuff growing naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always encourage that. You know, throw them in the landscape. What can they do? They don't know who's throwing it, you know, and
Right.
let it grow naturally.
Every time we went hiking, that's what I do. I just throw the seeds all over the place. And
Yeah, my husband, when he was deer hunting, he used to hunt a lot. And they were out in Licking, Missouri.
Oh, Licking, Missouri.
Yeah, and they found a 14-foot plant. It was six feet wide, and it had just grown up, you know. So
Right.
they didn't have a saw. They shot it down with their guns, having fun. Pew, pew. You know.
Oh, killing Mary
man.
Jane.
What a murder!
What do you
like
think- what do you-
Listening to a gruesome murder. Right
Can you
there.
imagine? Can you imagine the person coming back to check up on that plant?
Yeah, dude, that's somebody's gorilla grow. They've been working on it all summer, and it's finally fall. They're like, okay, in a month I harvest. they come back and it's just been shot to shit.
They've been scared
It
of
was
the.
something. He brought him and his brother split it, and they had 4 green trash bags, or the big black ones, full of weed. Well, he comes home, and he smells like buck scent from out deer hunting, and that shit stinks.
Is this thing? I've never smelt it.
Oh, it's horrible. You don't want to smell it. But and I thought, what's that smell? But it smelled like that and skunk. And I'm thinking, what is that smell? And he goes, look in the bag, and they were branches.
Oh, he took the branches before he shot it down. Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, there were branches of it, this
okay.
big, you know, and just packed. Well, I tried to preserve most of it, but I didn't have anywhere to hang it or anything, you know. But I preserved pretty much. We had weed all winter.
Yeah, well,
Well, Mary, it's gonna be hard to top that story, but I know you have thousands and thousands upon stories. So, on question number 3 here, what's the wildest or funniest high story you've gotten from back in the day?
that
Oh,
you're willing,
look, she's
that you're
already
willing
got
to
a
talk
chuckle.
about. That you're
She's al-
comfortable talking
Yes.
about.
The funniest? I don't even remember. I'm sorry, there's been so
many.
There's been so many funniest. I'm serious.
Well, that's good. That means a life of smiles and memory
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and events, which is big. Like right now, we're noticing. J-Dawg said it himself. A lot of my homies and friends got events and venues out, and big things are happening right now. And
They are.
and there's just not a lot of people showing up to these things, and I don't understand if it's the lack of knowledge, the maybe lack of concern or something. But this is a good damn time. They had infused popcorn the other night at Smoke the Hollow,
yes,
and watching
maximum,
Master Puppet or
maximum overdrive, and the Puppet Master.
on a big screen while smoking cannabis, sitting in comfy chairs.
Wow.
They had a good
It was
turnout,
it
but
was
not
a really
like
good night.
not like it should have been. I mean, there was a lot of people there. There was a good amount of people, but not like enough like that you would think there would be. So get out
I
there like
would
Mary,
think-
create some stories. Make you yourself tell you. I can't tell you, Travis, the funniest moment because I had so many of them.
I did have a lot of them. You know, when I really think back, and smoking weed at a young age like that, I mean, my brain wasn't even mature.
Well, let me-
You know, 14, that's early, and I just laughed a lot. Believe me.
Yeah.
If
I
I
giggle.
narrow down the wild part, have you smoked with anybody famous or semi-famous? We'll go semi-famous.
I haven't smoked with anybody famous, but I have met famous people.
Oh, well, that's wild. Were you high when you met them?
One of them, no. Chris Christopherson. He recently died.
Oh.
I met him down in Murfreesboro, Illinois. A friend of mine who lived there went to high school. Her brother went to college with him at SIU.
That's a wild story there. That's a good one.
And I met him. He came in, played guitar. This before he even made it big. And then I've met Janis Joplin.
Oh,
Janis
cool.
Joplin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take a moment here to look at a picture I've made for you here.
Oh, I love it.
Where did you meet Janis Joplin at?
Forest Park. I used to go hang with the hippies all the time.
Like maybe this next picture right here?
Oh, yeah. Like this. That was easy. You know.
So what we're looking at in the studio here is I made some digital pictures for Mary for the slideshow for inside. This is some hippies sitting in Forest Park with the arch in the background, and they're just sitting in a semicircle. They all have their own hooter, which I like.
Yes.
And yes, I did say hooter. You heard that right. But Mary, I asked her before the show, I'm like, Mary, tell me a little bit about stuff that stuck out. And she said Janis Joplin. So I had to pull that picture up, and then she kept mentioning Forest Park. Tell them, the listeners and followers, what you were telling me out there about Forest Park. It wasn't just a park to run or walk a dog. What happened?
Was all of a sudden one day, I guess all the hippies in St. Louis decided to hang out there. And all the hippies did the drugs. Then they started having bands. I met Ted Nugent out there, the band Rush.
Oh my goodness.
Janis Joplin. I'm trying to think of who else. There were several.
That's amazing.
And then local bands would come out there, you know. But
so a lot of music, a lot of outside in the city life.
A lot of music, a lot of smoking. You know, there's a lot of other drugs too going on.
Mary,
LSD, they did all that. They go out there and trip and stuff.
Well, I didn't want to ruin the surprise for you, Mary, because you told me about how great it was meeting Janis Joplin. Well, I wanted to share with you this next slide. Me and ShowMe Green once was caught on stage once with Janis Joplin. So that
Perfect.
It's funny how all these pictures that I keep coming up with are the same two pictures of me and him at the golf tournament last year.
That's funny.
Number 4. How was the quality of weed change over the decades? Better now, or was the old school stuff in its own way?
I think, well, back then you were getting a lot of stuff Mexican. And there was some pretty trashy Mexican.
Yeah.
Brick
You
weed.
know, brick weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was trashy Mexican. Every now and then you might get a Acapulco Gold or a
Something a little next shelf.
something a little better, you know.
Thai stick.
And
Yeah.
Thai stick.
well, that came from Thailand, you know. That was a whole different thing. Once the war ended over there, everything changed as far as getting it from Vietnam and all that stuff, you know. But
Do you ever remember getting headaches with that weed? Like,
sometimes you didn't even get off on it.
yeah, didn't feel nothing.
You know, it wouldn't do anything for you. And you'd come across a time when maybe something would, I mean, for a while you could get stoned, and then all of a sudden
It just
they'd
gone.
send up some shit Mexican that you couldn't hardly smoke. It was so harsh, you know.
So it's better now, you believe?
I believe it is better, even though I've smoked some pretty good weed back then. But back then,
I like how you said that.
yeah, I smoked pretty good weed back then. Weed, the percentage,
Shout out to Mary's old plug.
the percentage was only like 5%
Yeah,
back then. And we were getting stoned on that.
we talk about it all the time. Numbers are just a thing. They really are. I got to use that nose or that eye. I'd rather use the nose, but if eyes are the only thing I can use, I'll use that too.
The nose really works.
Yes.
You
Show me
know.
Green, you want to hit her question number 5?
Well, she kind of just talked. Have you ever smoked with anyone famous or in a crazy
Oh,
place? She kind
yeah.
of covered
You
that.
nailed
with
that
meeting
one.
Janis Joplin and Rush.
Well, go ahead and hit the 6. We'll hit 6.
Were you ever scared of getting busted back in the day?
Oh, I've
I
been-
imagine that
I've
was
been
the
busted.
life. Yeah, back then.
I've been
you know.
busted before. It's a bitch.
So here's a quick question for everybody at the table. And this goes to everybody. Do you think that enhanced the high?
Getting busted?
No, the
no,
fear of hiding it
No way.
that you're smoking.
No, I don't think so either.
I'd lose
Psychologically,
You'd lose it.
Oh yeah, if I was thinking something
psychologically, possibility.
Right.
Everybody thinks differently.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's very true and well said again. I'm just saying, you think there's something about that part of just like a cliff. You walk into the end. It might be a big glass window there to stop you from falling off, but some people can't get up to that. But like some can. So
I
like
understand.
I just wonder if that high, like that whatever that adrenaline is, of just knowing that I'm behind the dumpster smoking this, that I'm gonna feel a little bit more anxious.
Oh,
Maybe-
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
hell, one time down at the ballpark, the ball game was over and the cops were on the corner and they would stand there, you know, the cops on the corner. We were talking to some people we ran into, and I was with my brother and a couple of his friends, and I don't remember who else. But anyway, we ended up, he lights up a joint, and there's cops right behind him,
Oh, no.
standing there. And I said, well, you know, his name's Mark. I said, Mark, what are you doing? He goes, they don't care. He passed it and smoked it. You know, they never bothered us, but I've been busted before.
Oh,
Yeah. Now, twice. Once I didn't go to jail. The last time I did, and that I've never been arrested, never had to go to jail. And it really pissed me off, you know.
right.
But the first time, I was sitting in Tower Grove Park.
Oh,
Yeah,
another park.
I was raised over in that area, Tower Grove. And I was sitting in that park with my sister, who at that time had 600 pounds, sitting in her apartment.
Oh my goodness gracious.
She,
We call that a trap house.
well, we took care of pretty much of South St. Louis for a while.
Oh wow, that's cool. Helping
And then-
people.
And then the one guy that would get it for us, he ended up getting busted.
Oh no.
He didn't have to, he had to pay a fine. He served 4 years for tax evasion.
Yeah,
That's what they did back then.
that's what
You
I
know.
believe they're going to do now. Also, just a little side note on that and piggyback, because I feel that's what's going to happen to a lot of these vape shops,
Yeah.
is because no, we don't give a fuck you're selling cannabis. We do, but whatever. The person's choosing that at that point. They know the better, right from wrong. Whether they're telling themselves they're right or wrong themselves. But as far as like being able to not pay taxes is crazy to me to think that you're going to get away with that. Like you're just going to pocket all this street money, and Uncle Sam's going to be like, "It's all right, I don't care."
Well, they
No,
couldn't.
they want their cut.
They
And it
couldn't
goes back to what you
The
actually-
said.
federal government wants its cut.
yeah.
That's how it is.
It will.
Yeah,
it will
piece
get
of
its
the
cut.
pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they, I was going to say something.
That happens.
I
That
did
happens.
too.
You know, hey. There are a lot of times where, and in that day, this is what I was going to finish with. That day, 2 cops, my sister turned into a real bitch. I'm glad we weren't taken in.
Oh,
Because one cop looks at the other and he goes, you know what? He goes, this could jeopardize your job, couldn't it? I was only 18, and yes, it could have.
yeah.
You know. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, we're not going to file a report tonight because we have better things to do. And he was taking my bag and rolling it.
Oh, he rolled the bag.
Yep. Confiscation.
Yeah.
Did you look at your sister and go, "Did that just happen?"
No, she, I didn't say anything. I just told her to shut up.
You just, let me handle this.
Yeah, shut up. There were about 5 of us girls sitting in a circle just passing a joint, not bothering anybody. And these 2 cops pull up and they stop. Yeah,
These girls
it was
must
like-
be up to no good.
Well, I guess they saw one of us pass the joint.
Right.
And then we're right across from 600 pounds in an apartment.
Yeah, that's what
You
I'd be
know.
worried about.
Yeah, well, that's what she was worried
That's
about.
what she was worried about, too.
But she kept getting smart. I said the best thing for you to do is keep your mouth shut.
Shut up.
Yeah, shut up. So anyway, and then there was another time I got busted, and this is a story I never tell anybody, but I'll tell it.
Oh, news breaking. Boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
boop.
Mario music. Let's light this up, guys, and I'll tell you the story.
All right, let Mario.
I was kind enough to help out a friend that I had known for years. He needed a place to stay. I let him stay at my house. Big mistake. I'll never do it again. And because I stayed at a casino, I had money to blow back. I stayed at a casino, I guess, longer than he wanted me to, you know. I didn't even like the guy. I was just giving him a place
You're
to
helping
stay.
out, right?
Yeah.
Trying to help him get on his feet. I hate that, man. People do that. You give them an inch, or and it might be good for a couple weeks, and then something happens, and
Wait a minute.
then it all goes south. Here, I'll try. There you go, Mary. Go ahead.
But anyway, so one night he got pissed when I came home from the casino, and he was just wouldn't shut up being a real asshole. And
That's nice.
he started, yeah, that's a nice pipe. I just cleaned the bowl in that. It's my Mario.
Carb on it?
Huh?
No.
Is there a carb on it?
No. You just have to light it and smoke it. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Anyway, he started getting ignorant. I made the mistake of elbowing this guy.
Oh.
Then he beat me up.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a horrible night for me. I lost at the casino.
Oh my
Got
goodness.
beat up when I got home.
Oh shit, Mary.
Ended up getting busted. I had a plant about this big.
Oh my goodness.
In the bathroom, mind you. No girl room, nothing.
Nothing.
You know, this was about 10 years ago or more.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
my
thinking
goodness.
11. And so he comes out. He went and locked himself in the bathroom. And I'm thinking, what's this asshole gonna do? You know. Comes out with this plant, which is only this big, and says, look what she's doing. And I just said, it's not mine.
I'd say it's his. That's his. The guy that
You
just,
know, I said it's not mine. And he goes, it is to her. And then we argued over that, and they took us both in. Yeah. Ended up,
Man.
it was domestic. Sorry, I keep hitting everything.
That's all right. The story's that way.
Yeah.
That's a terrible story. I'm sorry you went through that,
Oh.
Mary, but you're a strong
I had
woman.
never been arrested before. And after
Did you get
that,
a cultivation charge, or what would it be?
I didn't get anything, but
Okay.
before I got so paranoid because I got arrested. I mean, it was a fucking horrible night.
Yes, it sounds like it. You can't write that shit.
No, It was a horrible night. I ended up lying low until my lease was up.
Yeah.
And then I finally told him that, hey, I'm not renewing the lease with you.
Yeah. I mean,
And
get my
he-
own place.
Yeah, get your own place, you mean
Right.
guy.
Quit riding on my back.
Yeah, never paid rent. He owed me $5,000.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'll never do it again.
Sending bad karma to him.
Well, I've helped, and that's just the way I am. I've helped a lot of people from becoming
I can see that.
homeless.
I can see
You
it.
know,
Big heart.
and-
You got a big heart, Mary. That's why we wanted you on the show. You're you're part of the heart that keeps the podcast bumping. So
Thank you.
know that, you know.
Thank you. Yay me. Mario.
Number 7, Mary. How do you feel about the mainstream cannabis, how it has become today?
Well, I like it, even though the taxes
Are
I
annoying
know.
and
are annoying.
they're high.
I'm trying not to get political, but
No.
it's almost ridiculous.
It is.
Other than that,
especially for medicinal use. Like we have a
Especially.
little bit of a tax break, but I really believe it should be more, because we are paying. Yeah, a lot of it goes to veterans. Medical patients aren't nowhere close to veterans. I'm definitely not saying that, but I'm saying that a lot of everybody uses cannabis for a certain reason, not just to be high. That's just the stereotype person saying, or the unknowledgeable person, just being unknowledgeable. Doesn't mean they're dumb or stupid. They just might be unknowledgeable.
Yeah,
that's why we got the
that's true.
podcast. But
that's
yeah.
true. That's true.
Number 8. I know the answer to this one. I'm going to love asking it. What's your go-to the way to smoke? What's your favorite device to use to smoke out of? And I'm surprised you didn't bring it and have it out on the table today.
A Zeppelin.
Yes. Tell these people and these listeners, because when I first met you, she flashed it to me in the dispo. She's like, this is what I got. I was like, Mary, you can't do that. She said, what? It's empty? I'm like, yeah, but it's got a lot of residue in it. But no, it was a Zeppelin. And what's great is I remember Zeppelins. So me being a smoker that started when I was 16, head shops were found in flea markets. So you go up to Peevely or Barnhart, and they had these, and you could go in there, and there's usually this one room that has tarps up, like walls. And luckily, I had a mustache and facial hair even at 16.
Yeah.
So I was 18, and I went in, and I remember seeing that thing, and that was one of the first things I ever bought. And I thought it was cool because you just put your weed in it. I couldn't roll at the time. It had a silicone or rubber top. You just hit it. You just put it in your pocket, your fifth pocket, fit right in there. You put about a gram into it. But yeah, I obviously learned how to roll and started doing that, and then went to blunts. And when Mary showed me that, I had like a flashback.
Yeah.
And then at the first event, Show Me Green, do you remember what her costume was at the Halloween thing?
No, I don't.
She had all them Zeppelins on that necklet.
I just got out of jail. I had a jail outfit on with a cape, and it said for paraphernalia.
Yeah, for paraphernalia. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
And she had like 9 Zeppelins around her neck. And she was
all
smoking
them
one.
went into the trash because the
rope.
well, they don't screw. Look,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no,
You
you're
know
good.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the good old Zeppelin. One thing I told her about that, the only downfall I remember them is I would hit it, let my homeboy hit it, and then my other homeboy hit it, his old lady hit it, then I hit it, and then I'd put it in my pocket.
and
Damn
hotter
straight
than
it's
hell.
hot. You just feel that for days.
It will burn you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 9, and I'm looking forward to this question here, Miss Mary. Any stoner wisdom you'd pass on to the younger generation of smokers? Life advice, weed etiquette, or just a motto?
Well,
It's not all THC percentage.
I respect that.
that's true. Yeah. I would give life advice that if it makes you feel good, continue the usage.
I like
You
that.
know.
If you
Yeah,
feel
if it makes
relief
you-
off of it.
Yeah. if
And
you-
small doses, like start
Yeah.
low, build slow.
I think if they gave kids, and I'm not a doctor or anything, instead of giving them Adderall or Ritalin or something, if they'd let them smoke a little weed
Or ingest.
or ingest whatever, it would calm these kids down.
At a very small dose. I mean, you can do
They wouldn't need much.
a lot of science in it. They wouldn't need much. It's not like we want a bunch of little Cheech and Chongs running around at 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
But there is some really high strung, and I can see seizures.
Oh,
I can
it's
tell
helped
you
with
in
seizures.
the
yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
and obviously won't tell a name, but my youngest patient that I had first year in medical, I believe was 14 years old. And this gentleman meant a lot to me because I was a team lead at that time. It was a weird situation for me to handle because I am used to dealing with cannabis and people, but like not kids. But he had his med card. His parents came in with him. This kid came in and he was very tall, very big kid. And I took him back because we all were scared. I didn't want the bud tenders to address him because they felt weird too. And I was the boss, so I figured I'd focus on compliance with the state as much as in how I addressed it. And I didn't want to make it seem like it was awesome and fun. That was the least I wanted to do when he came in there. So I made sure there was nobody else there, and then I took the youngin back, and I was talking to his mom at first, and I started talking to him, and I built a relationship with this dude by starting him low and building him slow, because he didn't want to take all the medication because of the way it made him feel.
Right.
And he ended up applying with the state, and the state approved him. And the second time this kid come back, the thank you that I got from him was amazing. He asked me if I could be his best friend. He told me he didn't have many.
Oh,
And
thanks.
it hits,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah,
at
that's
that
so
point,
compassionate. Yeah.
at that, it's like, yeah, buddy, as long as your mom don't care, I'll play Xbox with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
And she didn't care. This was 5 years ago, so now
Yeah.
the dude's already still on my Xbox league. Every now and then I play Sea of Thieves with him, which I'm horrible at. But he plays with me. But I can see him smiling, laughing. From day one of seeing him to what I know of the dude now is remarkable. It's a whole nother person, and it's really just doing. He does edibles, the live rosin. They're on the full spectrum. I just told him how to, everything. It's full spectrum rosin, anything rosin, not resin.
Yeah.
And just distinguish the difference.
Yeah.
And the kid's not depressed anymore. He's actually doing things. He's lost weight.
Yeah.
Which is mind blowing, because stereotypes like, oh, you smoke weed, you're gonna be fat. No, it's not necessarily the thing.
I've lost weight just eating like a bird when I learned I had diabetes. But I lost about 60 pounds.
Oh, wow.
You wouldn't have known me.
And you
I
were
was
still
a-
smoking cannabis the whole time?
Great.
Oh, yeah, I was a tubalina.
Oh, totally. Say what? Number 10. If you could go back and smoke with your younger self in 1969, what would you say or do differently, Mary Osha?
All the way back to 69, I think I'd keep it the same.
Really?
Because I started smoking then. I smoked hash before I smoked weed. A lot of, in the 70s, heavier drugs came in. I've
Yeah.
never done,
Oh, good for you.
I've tried them,
Yeah.
but I've never stayed on them. Like, I was on speed for a while, and back then it wasn't White Cross. It was Desoxyn.
Oh, never heard that.
They took it off the market because too many kids were melting it down and hitting it up.
Oh, my goodness.
All I did was drop it. I hung with the ones that were hitting up. It was a terrible lifestyle. I
Seen
got
a
away
lot.
from them. Oh, yeah, I got away
Probably enough
from
to
'em.
make you not want to do it 100%.
Well, I had to get off it. It was making me sick. And I
Oh.
was only putting pills, you know.
Right.
Back then, too, a lot of LSD was going on, plus the weed smoking. And I never did the LSD. I've done mescaline once.
Oh.
And I was on a date. You know, I did that once.
You were on a date?
No, I was with some guy I was dating.
Oh.
But when you're going to crack up at this. When I saw his face melt, I didn't like him anymore. I'm serious. After that,
That was it.
As bad as
I was through.
bad
Yeah.
as the look on his face, can you imagine what the look on your face was?
I couldn't imagine. I mean, his just creeped down, you know, and I thought he was cute, but no, he was ugly.
And he was Well,
But
that
if
was
I had to go back to 1969. Now I smoke a lot by myself.
yeah.
I think there was more unity in smoking. You had your high school buddies and after a while, everybody smoked weed.
Yeah.
When I first started smoking weed, nobody smoked weed except your circle of friends.
Right.
And we all kept it quiet because you had to.
Yep.
Kind of like Fight Club. We didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't talk about it, And anyway, that's how it was. Well, now I smoke a lot by myself.
So you would tell yourself to stay out of the bad situations you got yourself into and just smoke
for
to yourself?
Sure. For sure. Yeah.
That. Let's hit you with that question, Show Me Green. If you could go back to the first time you smoked weed, how old were you?
13, I think.
If you could go back to 13-year-old ShowMe Green, what would you tell him about cannabis?
That it's a way better alternative to alcohol.
I respect that. I madly respect that.
Yep. Don't. Everything is a drug that you don't naturally like. So when you think about like caffeine is a drug, right?
Yeah.
If you go into the mindset that you can become addicted to anything, then whether that's a mental thing or a physical thing, because you can become mentally addicted to something.
Yeah.
Right?
True. 100%.
So
even routine.
So just try to keep that in mind, and then don't waste your time with alcohol. Really, I mean,
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah. Like I don't have anything against people having a drink or two. Social drinking, that's fine. But like if you're,
but
if
the
you,
question
if
was,
you
what would you tell
you?
Yeah, but, this would be more directed towards you. Like, what would you tell yourself? And I respect that because I goes to a lot of people. Some people don't even know that yet, but that's the answer. J-Dawg behind the camera, on the mic, making infused popcorn that he brought us, by the way. Infused caramel popcorn this morning. We all had to be. That's what's wrong with me. I ate that big ball of popcorn before we started this.
Yeah, it was good.
If you could go back and tell yourself, J-Dawg, when you first started smoking, what would you tell yourself back then about cannabis that could benefit you?
That it's okay. I mean, I grew up. It was a confliction. I mean, you're being told no, it's bad. That's don't do that.
Right. It's such a bad thing.
Yeah.
So it was feared upon. You waited until.
Well, I was 16.
16.
Yeah. But still, yet, I mean, same thing. You had to have that circle of friends, and you kept it quiet. I was constantly afraid of being arrested. I mean, that was a constant fear.
Yeah. It took me 50-something years.
I'd go back and tell Travioli that was 16 years old, that didn't get a break at his Pizza Hut job. The only way you got a break is if you smoked weed. So I had to get a break because I wanted to fit in with the older kids that were 20s because that's cool. 16, want to hang out with 20-year-olds. I hit weed. If I could go back and tell Travioli something, I would probably tell him, know who you're smoking with and what you're smoking. Because, little story short, I went to the east side. I was partying one night. I went out to this white Mercedes-Benz, got in a truck, or the back seat of this car that had white leather, white carpet. And I'm like, this car is the most cleanest, prettiest car I've ever seen in my life. They hit a blunt. They hit it. They passed it back. I hit it. And it was like you put a white sheet of paper in front of my face. And I didn't know what happened. I know the car was white, but, I couldn't see anything. All I did was, hold it out, and he got it from me, and they asked me how I liked that, and I'm like, what the fuck? Color started coming back because I was at the east side, so I started seeing the neon lights everywhere, the Oz, Pops, strip clubs. I said, what the fuck was that? Because it just was such a rush. They hit it with embalming fluid, and they didn't tell me.
Oh my
God! I didn't know who I was smoking with. I didn't know what I was smoking. So if Travioli could tell Travioli back then or any other person, anything else, know who you're smoking with and what they have.
That's almost true today.
Because you can put rosin.
Because you can do, for somebody who doesn't like rosin or doesn't like hash or whatever, you can really mess them up.
100%.
And I don't believe, I always was against that.
And just because you smoked back in the 70s doesn't mean that you can jump back in the game with this new age weed.
That's
infused
true.
with rosin or hash, like you said.
Yeah, don't
because
grab a hash hole.
Don't grab a hash hole. But that could send you over the top, and it won't kill you. But you're going to have such an adrenaline rush and such an anxiety attack that you're not going to think the same. You're going to think it's bad, and it's not.
Right.
It's just because you spent $40 on something that is stereotyped for a certain type of person.
That's true.
So, Mary, thanks for answering those 10 questions. I do got another question for you because if you notice in this studio, I am a big Elvis fan. Got Elvis here, Elvis there, poster here. I did not get to live during the era of Elvis. I am only a big fan because when I was younger and lived with my grandma, she had an 8-track, and it was Patsy Cline. And the only thing that was close to hip-hop because that's what I was into as an infant, is hip hop,
Yeah,
you
as
know,
a kid. Yeah.
was Elvis Presley. So I would pop that 8-track in there. That 8-track would also go in her 1977 Lincoln Continental that when I turned 16 could drive her to church in. Also would play Elvis. So I was a big fan. So can you tell me what's your biggest memory of Elvis in that time era?
Elvis was so cool. I didn't get to see him because he was more into the 50s. And I was born in 55. So
55.
I was like just a kid.
But
When he
radio
was
and
getting-
concerts and
Oh my
movies.
God. It was always, him and Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, yes.
Think of that. Him and Tom Jones had the same female fan base
Yeah.
when you come to it. Now, this I don't remember.
This is just whenever he got caught with cannabis and he was smoking. And this is whenever he was talking about the war against drugs. You help me out there, J-Dawg? Do you remember this time era? You don't either?
He didn't start the war
got you.
on drugs, though. You know who did? You know who started the war on drugs was
Reagan.
Reagan.
Oh, it was Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Reagan because his wife was an alcoholic.
Well,
so-
I can tell you exactly what's happening in this picture. And I was wrong, and I shouldn't have used it for the podcast. But the reason why it's on here is because it triggered something else. So this is actually... Elvis wanted to be an agent.
He's going for his badge.
He wanted a
right?
badge. There's a movie that's out there that's called Nixon and Presley.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is he wanted to be able to carry his gun on the plane. And they wouldn't let him. So the only way you could do that is being a federal agent. So he went and talked up to Mr. Nixon. Now, when he addressed Mr. Nixon, he told them, Nixon didn't know who he was. He didn't care. But he had 2 daughters that definitely knew who Elvis Presley was. And they wanted to meet him so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they got a whiff that Elvis was talking to their dad,
Oh,
Nixon
wow.
gave him a badge for a photo with daughters. So that's what
too
that is. So
cool.
it is,
Yeah.
and I guess we taught each other something there.
Yeah.
But the other thing, Mary, I want to thank you for coming down. I want to tell you about an event that's coming up, which I'm old school, and I like keeping it 90s. I like printing out stuff and being like, here you go, here's an event that's coming up. A lot of people now
Okay.
look at me and be like, dude, just post it on social. I'm like, it ain't the same.
I get it.
But that right there, my best friend owns the Main Street Underground, and there's going to be a Laughing, Smoking, and Loud concert. And what this is there's 4 or 5 comedians coming from Atlanta, Georgia. They are ran by Funny Man Mason. The host is going to be Unc the Great. Looks like he's missing his front teeth right there. But I've heard these guys are really, really, really funny, and they are from Atlanta, Georgia. So Atlanta's pretty raw. So I'm really looking forward to this. The podcast will be there. That's going to be June 14th. Everybody put it on the calendar. That's 104 Rink Street, Park Hills, Missouri, 63601. I'll have it on my social. I'll keep posting it. It's going to be at the Park Hills Underground. Mary, this place is so cool. You walk, it's a building that it has a grocery store on top of it. And if you go to the back, you walk down this long ramp. It ain't real long, but the ramp is for anybody in wheelchairs. So if you're listening, you're in wheelchairs, or you want to take somebody to this event that's in a wheelchair, this is an extremely good opportunity to do it. You can wheel them down. You get down. You're underneath the ground. You're underneath the streets of Park Hills. And there is like over 30 or 40 tables. We'll say 30, 35. That you can seat like 7, 8 people at. So you can this can be an event. This could be a family event. This could be a bunch of friends. Triple date, whatever. But basically, you go there. We're going to be able to smoke cannabis inside the venue. You're going to be able to watch these comedians. We are not held responsible for laughs. That are your own convenience. There will be snack bar. There's a pool table. There's going to be a lot of things going on. I'm sure there'll be some vendors there, probably a food truck. But like I said, he has a snack bar inside there now, so that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But you can smoke in this event. So everybody on June 14th, please come check it out. We'll all get it posted. Have laughs with us. The podcast will be there. J-Dawg will probably be getting some snaps.
Definitely.
And yeah, we'd like to see you there. So I'm telling everybody.
I'll try to be there. I'm not sure what's happening, but I will try. I'll look on my calendar.
That's good, as long as I got the possibility.
Yeah.
Also, he has karaoke every Thursday. I'm just throwing that out there. I still haven't got to do that yet.
I used to karaoke every weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, all the time. I've even won
What was your
contests.
go-to? What was your go-to song?
There were a couple of them. One was "Smooth Operator" by
Ooh, good.
Sade, and then I did "California Dreamin'." I've done several.
I wanted to do Frank Sinatra at the North event, but the band was playing so good, I didn't want to tell them to stop.
Well, you know, now they're going to have 3 bands.
Yes.
They're going to have 3 bands out there. I hope to see all you guys.
This,
I've got to work that day, but I'll be there, you know.
Well-
I'll be there. They'll tell me to be square.
right. Well, Mary, again, I appreciate you. I always have since the first day I met you. I want to thank you for taking time to come down and sit in the studio with us. Thanks for letting us hit Mario.
Yes.
Just to let everybody know, Mario there.
That's Mario. You got
One of our full-time
like
listeners.
This.
Yeah, that's Mario.
That's
don't
what
moonwalk.
Mario does.
Well, that being said, stay flossing on Davis Crossing, and thank you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Peace.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Too many mics, not enough hands.